As the area works to rebrand itself the Voltage Valley, Ohio State Senator Mike Ruley is hoping to make sure that we're ready by improving Ohio's electric vehicle charging infrastructure. Ruley recently introducing a bill establishing an electric vehicle charging station grant rebate program, which would go through ODOT. Joining us to go over that and much more, State Senator Mike Ruley. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so would you say that this is just as simple as that, a lack of the appropriate electric vehicle infrastructure that's holding us back and really the nation back from adopting these types of vehicles?
That's exactly right. So about a year and a half, 2 years ago, when Senator O'Brien and I were looking at Workhorse, and we were understanding what the EV revolution is, and it really is a revolution when you look at electric vehicles. That's what EV is. Jaguar on Monday announced by 2025 they will no longer make combustional engines. That everything will be electric vehicles, and GM announced that by 2035 they will be all electric. So one of the problems you have with electric vehicles are there's not enough charging stations in the United States to handle that kind of volume. So in Ohio in particular, the amount of charging stations is unacceptable. When you buy a new Tesla, the Tesla is going to give you an app to show you where all the charging stations are located. So think about today's a Sunday, and if you want to go out and about and do your chores, you're going to run into gas stations everywhere. Well, if you have an electric vehicle, you're not going to have that luxury of finding charging stations. So Ruley Senate Bill 32 sort of takes care of that in Ohio and actually throws Ohio to the leader in the country for developing charging stations, not only along the turnpike, but in all the nooks and crannies. So Ohio would be a very friendly state to bring your electric vehicle to.
Yeah, get ahead of it and be the first one and be innovative. That's a good plan. But I think a lot of taxpayers are wondering, how will we fund this through ODOT? We have that gas tax already, and we're paying all these taxes. What do you think about this? Would your bill use funds to give incentives to purchase these charging stations and place them, near the state highways with that money? Where would this money come from?
Well, it actually would come from the ODOT budget. And the thing you have to realize, when I was on energy, I was the ranking freshman on the energy committee. And when ODOT brought their budget in front of me 2 years ago, there's a lot of fat inside the ODOT budget. As an example, when I was going through their IT budget from 2016 to 2019, it had an increase of $48 million. And they had no explanation for it. They couldn't tell me if it was with software, if it was brick and mortar, or if it was with personnel. They just had no excuse. So I've got into the nuts and bolts, and I found a lot of fat within inside that budget that would more than ample pay for this.
Okay. Now, what is the temperature among the lawmakers in the state? How quickly do you think this could pass? Do you think it will? And then, if it does, where do you want to put these first?
Well, it's already had a committee assignment, and we already had first and second hearing. So we have at least another 2 hearings to go, and then we're going to have a Senate floor vote. I've been whipping the votes. I think I have enough votes to get it through the Senate, and then it's going to go over to the House, where Representative Lloydczyk's going to take it up. I know Speaker Tim Ginter from Columbiana is very interested in it. So I'm hoping it'll have a favorable placement in the lower chamber, and then we could get it to the governor's desk by the summer.
Okay. On another note, Lordstown Motors Corporation is hoping to get an exemption from Ohio's dealership rules so that they would be able to directly sell to customers. And, you're trying to keep them happy here in the state. Why does this make sense for this vehicle to not go through a dealership?
So that's an amazing question. So what we've noticed is in 2014, they have this thing called the Tesla carve-out. In Ohio, I believe it was in the 80s, there was a law that was written that said you are not allowed to sell directly from the manufacturer to the direct consumer. So Tesla got a carve out. And so, I know a lot of people love Tesla, but Tesla is a California company, owned, California produced, and the taxes go to California. This is an Ohio made, Ohio manufactured, and it is Ohio produced, and the money would stay here. So we really need this carve out to make sure that the Lordstown Motors has an upper leg and can actually survive. Lordstown Motors is sort of the Cinderella of the EV market right now. And we know we're trying to get the postal trucks, but we're already over 110,000 Endurances sold. And the wheel hub technology and the wheel hub manufacturing that's going to go on in that facility is incredible. We really need to get behind Lordstown Motors. Between that and the LG Chem battery plant if everything goes right, within the next 5 years, we could possibly see jobs of anywhere between 10 to 15,000. It truly is a revolution. The carve out is essential for Lordstown Motors.
And would there be any benefits for the customer to not have a dealership, though? Do you think that, if something goes wrong with the vehicle, what would they do in terms of getting it serviced? Have they kind of talked to you about some of those possible hangups?
Well, I think, as I mentioned before with Tesla sort of has conquered this. I have a cousin that actually has a Tesla in Cleveland. So what happens with Tesla, and this will happen with their Endurance. Now, out of those 110,000 units that we've sold, most of those are fleet programs. So say like you were working for AT&T and you were the service guy and you have 50 Endurances in your garage. And Tesla has already done this. Tesla, they call it the hotspot. So if you have a Tesla and you come home from work and you pull it in the garage and you start making your dinner, if something's wrong, say with the hydraulics that are going into the wheel hub motor, which is in each one of your wheels, the communication back and forth between the vehicle and Tesla is continuous. Your vehicle is always in communication with the motherboard inside Tesla. Now, Lordstown Motors, right now, we're building a computer room like that. So those 110,000 Endurances will constantly be in communication with our control center. Now, if we notice there's a problem, we're going to send a hotspot team out to your location. It's a 3-hour window, and they usually come there with a flatbed truck, and they'll take away your Endurance and leave you with another Endurance while they fix the problem. It's sort of a really nice program. Tesla's been working on it for the last 10 years, so we're going to go after that model.
Definitely high tech. Well, that's all the time we have. I have a million other questions for you, but we'll have to bring you back, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it.